One last time. Wow. Whoa. Beautiful. You know, when a speaker comes, he often says, "Well, I'm very happy to be here, and I don't know why I'm here necessarily. It's rather superfluous when I see the wonderful people here, the wonderful Rabbeim, the Rosh Yeshiva here who are with you, the head of the various machlakas and everything, and to hear see the Rabbeim and all this, and the Talmidim." And the emphasis, to some extent, I feel that way, and I really, really mean it. To have the opportunity, Rabbi Katz bringing Mrs. Rosenbaum and I into the, here to be able to listen to the Siyum and all, and see the Torah power that exists here. Torah power! Whoa! This is something. One of the things I wanted to say later, but I'm going to say it right now because I'm excited. Can you see I'm excited? I'm excited. Is the fact that in the 67-day war, 67 year, that's 1967, 6-day war, the Briskerov said, learn, because there are two fronts that we're dealing with. There's the front, in those days, there was an Egyptian front, and a Jordanian front, and a Syrian front. They're all over the place, Lebanon front. But besides those fronts, there's a front in the Shemayim. And when we can be matzliach with limud HaTorah, gemilas chesed, and tefillah, we will be able to be matzliach on the ground. And there's no shaila now. Let's see, with 11 siyumim. We say, I'm just digressing for a moment, achadashar miyodea, who knows, 11. Remember what we say? 11 are the stars in Joseph's dream. And I see, in addition, another 11 stars here. Fantastic. And it's not just them. But I want to come back to what the Briskerov said. When we are successful here, they'll be successful there. And I feel with the Torah power which I see here, living Torah power, we are giving fuel to those courageous young men and women at the front in Gaza and up north as well. And there's no question, courageous people, their lives on the line. But you have given your life. This is Zman. And I see it. The 11 people who finished the sectors, and you are an inspiration to everybody here. Because you did it, I can do it too. And I can do it too. And you know what? Success comes in cans. Not a can of Heinz beans, but I can do it. And I can is more important than IQ. I can do it. I can do it. I will do it. And there are people sitting here who didn't get up here for the Siyum, but the next time around, they'll be here too. In Yes Hashem, or wherever they may be, because yes, I can do it. And I want to fuel the kochos of the other people who are putting their lives on the line too. I tell you, I'm just wow, whoa, what I witnessed here, it's beautiful, beautiful. The word Siyum, by the way, how do you spell the word Siyum in Hebrew? Samach, Yud, Vav, Mem. Now look at that carefully. Samach. The letter Samach, by the way, in Gematria equals 60. I know many of you know that anyway, but I'm repeating it for a reason. Samach equals 60 itself in the Gematria. If you write the word, how do you write Samach? If I would write Samach, I would write it Sin, I would write it Samach, Sin, Mem, Chof, Samech. Okay? Sin is 60. Then that's the first letter. What's the numerical equivalent of the other two letters? What's the other two? The Mem is 40. The Chof is 20. 40 and 20, 60. So it comes out that the last two letters of that word are the same gematria as the first. Okay? The first is the point person, so to speak. But the other two should not be neglected. They are as important too as the Samach. I'm coming back. What about Yud? Yud, okay, Siyum. Okay. Yud is 10. Okay. There's the Yud with 10. Then there's a Vav and a Dalet, right? Yud. Vav is how much? 6. Dalet, 4. Together, 10. So that the first point letter and the other two letters that make up the Yud when it is spelled out in full is also 10. The point person should never overlook the other two letters. Then there's Vav, 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 Sa, and then Mem, Mem. Okay. Concept is, says the Vilna Gaon, it's not just the people who stood up here, but what about all the other fellows during the whole year who learned as well? They maybe weren't able to complete the full Masechta or a full Masechta, but don't think that they're not part of the whole situation too. Not only is their own learning, whether it be 1 blot or 3 blot or 10 blot, whatever it may be. It may be only an amud, which I know it's much more than that, but everything is important. And no person is overlooked. But it's a beautiful thing. A Siyum is the completion. It's not just the completion of the 11 people who stood, but it's a completion for everybody here. Yasher Koach to the Rebbeim and everybody. Let's give yourselves a hand because you really, really deserve it, for sure. Let me tell you, I want to share with you 2 ideas. And I want to do it so in a timely fashion. The first idea goes back. It's going to emphasize, and I heard it, so that's why I could feel a little bit superfluous. The idea of developing an attitude of gratitude, which I see is here. It's lovely to see how you thank your Rabbi and other people who motivated you. We all have somebody who motivated us and continues to motivate us, and that's for sure. our wives. And yes, that's why Mrs. Rosenbaum is here too. She motivates me all the time. And when you marry the right person, and hear this well, you'll have who appreciates what you're doing and encourages you. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing that gives you impetus to keep moving all the time. Let's go further for a second. The Netziv was the Rosh Yeshiva of Volozhin. A young man came who had once learned in the yeshiva, just like you would be, and he came back after a few years. You know, he had a wife and children, and he had a business. And he saw the Rosh Yeshiva. He says, Rosh Yeshiva says to him, "Tell me, how things going?" He said, "Rabbi, things are going great. My wife is wonderful. My children are thriving. Business is booming." Listen carefully. I can't complain. I can't complain. The Netziv looked at him with a loving look, and he said, "You should be careful that he can't complain. You should express your gratitude. That's what you should express your gratitude. I see that you fellows are in there already, expressing gratitude. How grateful we are. Look where we're learning. Look the fact that we are learning. We're here as a group of Torah people on each level. Every person's an individual. We're committed in his own way. Listen, I was a day school student in Connecticut. Someone brought me to Ner Yisrael. My life would have changed if I hadn't been brought to Ner Yisrael. And I stayed there for a period of time and then went into Jewish education for 41 years. And then coming here to Eretz Yisrael, my life would have been different. Had someone told me, when I was a teenager and then young adult before I went to Ner Yisrael, you would be this or that, I'd say, cut it out. Don't. And Baruch Hashem. And therefore, how grateful I am, and how grateful we are that we're in such a situation. Baruch Hashem. I had a cab driver today. I keep running into these great people, cab drivers. And he said to me, when is the Birchas Ilanos? It's Tuesday, isn't it? Birchas Ilanos? I said, yeah. He said, my Rav takes the whole congregation out early in the morning on Tuesday. It will be this Tuesday, on the day that we have a chance to make a blessing on a budding fruit tree. And we all make the bracha together to show our appreciation to Hashem for giving us the opportunity to have the great goodness that He gives us. What does the bracha say? And listen carefully. Bracha to Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, for there is nothing lacking in His universe. And He created creatures and good trees to cause mankind pleasure with Him. It's a beautiful bracha, said only once a year. And the fact is, fruit shows us that Hashem loves us. Because you can get along without fruit. For God to have created us and not given us water and bread and the basics, that would be something that's masochistic, sadistic, be terrible. And God is not that. He's a loving Father. When He gives us fruit as well, He's giving us the dessert right up there. Wow. It shows how much He cares for us and loves us as such. Baruch Hashem, an attitude of gratitude. Keep this in mind. In the Seder, you will learn about the Chacham. What is a Chacham? What's a Chacham? Can someone help me? Alomi Nikolana learns from everybody. A wise man, fantastic. It's all true. I'm going to add to it. Take those three letters, Ches, Chaf, Mem, okay? And do the following with me. Let's put words to it. It's an acronym. Together, what we said, you can write through it. Ches, Chetzi, Chaf, Kos, Mem, Malaya. A half cup full. We could look at life and we can look at what God does for us and say, hey, that's, he's half empty. Instead, look at life, Chetzi, Kos, Malaya. And we find And after that, it's even more than that, much more than half, as far as that goes. So what an opportunity, a opportunity to have an attitude of gratitude, a good eye. It's the best thing for us to give us a really wonderful situation here in life. I have one other idea that I want to share with you. And those of you who have Gemaras in front of you could take a look. And if I may borrow this Gemara for a moment, take a look. Any daf in any Gemara, when you look at the block, starts on one side, the inner side with Rashi, the outer side with Tosfos, and you have the Gemara in the middle. How many large lines are there on any block? On any block, how many lines are there? Take a look. The larger lines, you'll notice there are four. Four large lines. And this is the same thing on any block that you turn to. Four large lines. And then it goes down in a smaller column. You take a Rambam, same thing, four large lines. You'll take a Shulchan Aruch, not a Kitzer, but a regular Shulchan Aruch, four large lines. Question is, what do you learn from that? I want to tell you something, and it's not, it could be, some people will learn that you should be chazarding at least 4 times. All right, but I'm going to tell you something else which is very interesting. At the end of davening, every day in Shemona Esrei, we say 4 things. Elokai, Nitzur, Lashoni Meira, guard my tongue from speaking evil. Usfasai, Midamir Mirma, and my lips from saying untruths. V'lim kalalai, nafshi, zido, and people who curse me, let me be silent. I want help. Let me be silent. Let me have good self-control. I like to punch them out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to have self-control. And lastly, the nafshi ka'afur lakoltiyeh. Let me be like earth. Let me be modest, it's true, but let me be strong. Remember, this building is on earth and stone. And also, earth is resilient. You step on it, it continues to grow. It's not wimpy, it's strong. So therefore, here are 4 things. That's the 4 lines on the top of the Gemara, on every Gemara. Always remember to have a clean mouth, a mouth that does not speak Lashon Hara, a mouth that does careful to only speak truth, a person of self-control and self-worth, and certainly a resilient person and all that. If I am all these 4 things, that's the derech eretz shekadma l'Torah. What comes next in the way in the Shemona Esrei? Nisur l'shonei meros, v'sayim nabir mirma, v'nkalai nafshi sido, v'nafshi kafir lakol tiyeh. Those 4 lines on top of the Gemara. What do you do then? Psach libi v'seresecha. I dive right in, because since I'm a mensch, Hashem will give me the siyata d'shmaya to be successful. A person, in order to grow in Torah, first and foremost has to be a decent person. A guy comes over to me and says, "Oh, this fellow, he's an Orthodox Jew. And you see what he did in the market. You see what he did here. You see how he behaved. Or this other person cut in line. Or this person double parked. What kind of person, what kind of Orthodox Jew is he?" Even if he has, the garb. And I say to him, "Fellow, he's not an Orthodox Jew. He can't really be, because he's lacking these 4 things. He's not a mensch. First, at least he's not a complete mensch. Most of us are not complete mensches, but we have failings, we have flaws. But you get the idea. A person, before he can be great in Torah, has to be great in being a decent human being. I want to end with an idea that we share at our Seder that brings this out. The idea is as follows. After the Second World War, either the end of 45, it was after the war in 45, or in 46, there were Jews in DP camps, displaced persons. In one camp, there was the Skilina Rebbe, and he was able to acquire a certain amount of flour. He and his Hasidim made matzah, and he distributed that matzah to other dynasties that were still functioning, that were still alive. And he only gave them 3 matzahs, though. 3 is better than nothing. Remember, don't let the perfect spoil the good. So here they had nothing for 6 years. And now, matzah. Wow. People came from near and far for the few matzahs, and everyone got 3 matzahs. Until the Vizhnitzer's son came. The Vizhnitzer's son said, my father wants 6 matzahs. You can imagine the limitations that they had. It was a big, big discussion. And finally, the Vizhnitzer's son got the 6 matzahs and went home with them. Everyone else, only 3. What happened? Just fast forward. It's Erev Pesach. And the Vizhnitzer's son comes back with 3 of the 6 matzahs. They say to him, he says, here, this is for you. They said, what'd you take it for in the first place if you're not going to use it? He said, my father, the Vizhnitzer Rebbe, thought that the Skalina Rebbe would be so busy giving out matzahs to everyone that he would give away his matzahs too. He wanted to save 3 matzahs so that the Skalina would have 3 matzahs, his own. Well, let me tell you, they checked out, and sure enough, he didn't have it. In other words, the Skalina had given up his matzahs already. And now he had 3 matzahs for Pesach. This is the idea. These are 2 giants of Torah knowledge, giants of all. Believe me, they made many, many, many Siyumim. But what defined them as special, as Gedolim, was the way they behaved and they looked after others. Reb Chaim Volozhin said, Lo la'at Adam, a human being, lo la'atzmo nivra. He is not created just for himself. And any real Godel, any real Torah leader, any Torah people, and we are all Torah people here on different levels. Everyone's on different levels. When we, first and foremost, Zai a mensch, be a mensch. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I want to wish you all a Chag Sameach b'Kosher. Listen carefully. I didn't say kosher b'Sameach. I said Sameach b'Kosher. Purim, I tell people they should have a kosher and Sameach Purim, because I know everybody's going to drink. They're going to have a great time. But where should they be careful in kashrus? Because who knows where the Shalach Manas come from. Some already 3rd and 4th generation as they've been passed around and everything. Who knows? But fine. But we're past Purim. But when it comes to Pesach, it's going to be kosher. No question, it'll be good. But what about Freilach? You're going home. You're going to go home to many of you. Others will be wherever you may be. But the fact is, to have a happy, and we are happy by making others happy. That'll be it. So may you have, in Yitzhak Hashem, a very happy and kosher Pesach. Be well.